as promised, now I'm going to talk about The Flash. Yes, The Flash. Alright, I didn't get to see the series finale. I know it got picked up for another season or so, so we're not even going to go there. We're not going to talk about the TV Flash. We're going to talk about the comic book Flash. We're not going to talk about the Golden Age Flash, which is Jay Garrick, because I didn't know who the hell that was. Because in the Golden Age of comic books, I was like in Sperm City. Okay? So I have no idea anything about Jay Garrick other than his Flash powers are a little bit different than what the Speed Force and Barry Allen had. Alright, so we're going to go with three Flashes. Three people who will don the outfit, the Flash. And not Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash as they call him on TV show. And not the Zoom Zoom that they got. Because they were the Reverse Flash, Ebert Thawne, is Professor Zoom. So whatever the TV show was doing, they kind of fucked that up a little bit. But hey, as I said in other videos, they deviate things when they pull them off comic books. So you just kind of have to accept shit and roll with it because the show's a hit, so fuck it. Okay, so let's talk about Barry Allen. Police forensic scientist, which means he's still a cop. He still has the right to arrest you if he has to, but his job is forensics. That way he can use his scientific brain and his police skills at the same time. Alright, so if you watched the first original Flash show back in the 90s with John Wesley Shipp, then you would know that they also did Barry Allen. And he recently played Henry Allen, who was Barry's father, in the new Flash TV show. Also, it brought in Amanda Paines from the old Flash show. And if you haven't seen the old Flash show, you should Google it. It still holds up. Alright, it holds up for me. The effects we have now are like way better, but the effects they had back in the 90s was the shit for its time. So it still holds up for me. Just like the three original Ninja Turtle movies, it still holds up for me. I'm going to stop talking about that right now and get back on the Flash. Alright, so as you know, Barry Allen was struck by lightning, and the lightning plus the chemicals gave him access to the Speed Force, or gave the Speed Force access to his body. Just depending on how you want to look at that. So let me jump ahead and then jump back. Initially, Barry Allen ran himself to death, saving the world. Alright? That doesn't make sense. Go Google it, because I think he died in 82. I'm pretty not sure on that, but let's just say when he died, Wally West, who was Iris's brother or cousin or nephew of some sort, in the TV show he's her brother, but in the comic book I'm pretty sure he was her cousin or nephew or something, but he was a West, and he was white. He became the Flash. And at some point in time, Barry Allen came back and told him to take that uniform off. He doesn't deserve to be the Flash. Alright? Long story. Don't know how that happened. Like I said, I'm more Marvel than DC, so we're going to continue on with the Flash. Alright. So, going back to Barry Allen. Barry Allen was the most successful and most noted Flash of all four Flashes. Now, if there's a fifth Flash, which might be a girl, I'm not going to swear to it because Impulse is a twin, and I believe that his sister was also the Flash. I'm not going to swear to that because they're also Barry and Iris's kids. Which goes back to, how the fuck does that happen if Barry Allen died? Well, like in all comic books, whether it be Marvel, DC, or Dark Horse, or Harbinger, or whatever the hell, heroes are basically immortal and they come back, or they go from dimension to dimension or alternate timeline, etc., and they get stuck in their world or they get stuck in our world, and we'll go on from there because you can just like type that in a circle and it'll just be like an infinity symbol, like the figure eight. It'll go on and on and on, and so be it. Now, Barry Allen was special because he was just Barry. And Barry was that one Flash that everybody remembers. You can go to any country in the world and you mention the Flash, most of the people only know Barry Allen. Why do they only know Barry Allen? Because he's the popular name to remember. B.A. Barry Allen. Whether you want to call him Bartholomew or whatever, but most people only know him as Barry Allen. So I don't know his middle name. I know he has one, but I don't give a damn because I don't know it. My favorite DC heroes are Batman, the Green Lantern, and the Flash. And I like the Green Arrow TV show, but it's so deviated from the comic book. But it probably has something to do with the New 52s. We're not going there. We're staying on the Flash. Alright, so as you guys know, Barry Allen's the Flash. He's a cop. So it made it easier for him to do his job and both jobs and, have run over Central City. All right, so that's fine and dandy and everything, and anybody who can go from Central City to New York in like 50 seconds is pretty goddamn fast. And then Barry, if you read the comics, he had the ability to vibrate his molecules so fast that he could phase through walls and shit, and throw lightning bolts and stuff like that. So they did add that into the TV show, by the way, for those who care. They didn't do it in the 90s because they didn't have the tech. But I'm pretty sure that John Wesley Snipes was like, well, damn, we didn't do that. Well, to the actor John Wesley Shipp, the reason we didn't do that is because back in the 90s, when I was like 17, 18, the tech just wasn't there. Now the tech is there. And the tech for making movies and stuff is always upgrading. It's always getting better. So with the Flash, now they can actually use some of his real powers, where he can vibrate through walls and accelerated speeds, and he can make whirlwinds and stuff like that. And the things that they've done on the show is the things that he's done in the comic, and they can do that now where they couldn't do it when the original Flash, John Wesley Shipp, was the Flash. But now that Grant, whatever the hell his name is, has the tech, they can do that. So it's nothing. It's the same thing like with George Reeve and Christopher Reeve and Brandon Roth. Those guys played Superman before Henry Cavill or whatever the heck his name is. I'm sorry. We'll never work together, so we don't have to worry about that. We're never going to meet. I'm going to be the actor who's going to die. No one's ever going to know who the fuck I am. And it won't be suicide. It'll just be like one of those incidents. Oh, yeah, now we know who you are because you're dead. Anyway, when all those guys played Superman, they only had yay so much tech that they could do. Where now with Henry Cavill, they can do so much more to make Superman's powers look more realistic and shit. So back with the Flash, when John Wesley Shipp was the Flash, they couldn't make him phase through walls. They did not have the tech for that. Now they do. So it's easier to do things with the Flash, And the only other thing that I will say, I don't recall the old Flash having guest star superheroes or supervillains. And the same thing like with Smallville with Tom Welling, when John Haynes Newton played the original Superboy before he was replaced by Gerald somebody. I'm sorry, guys. I know them, but I can't really remember all of their names. But when he was replaced by the other guy, they only really had Bizarro and Mitsuplik and stuff. I'm sure you guys can go find Superboy. It was pretty good, and it still holds up. All right. You even had Jan Michael Vincent on there, but I forgot who he played. But he was a black superhero that was initially a white superhero. But anyway, I want to thank DC for that by giving DC more diverse colored characters. Because DC had the least amount of colored characters until like the Green Lantern became black. Again, deviating, going back to the Flash. So why do people remember Barry Allen? Because he was the best. Simple as that. He was the best. He was better than Kid Flash. When Kid Flash came along, they all ran with each other. And they even brought back Jay Garrett a couple of times. And you'd have to see, I can't remember the issue of the comic book. They had one where they had all three Flashes on there. And I think they did like a race for charity or some shit. I don't remember what the hell it was, but Kid Flash lost. He even lost to Jay Garrett. So that should show you that his powers were fast, but even old school was faster than him. And Barry just outran both of them. So let's move on to Wally West. All right, so Wally West, if you go by the comic book, if you want to stick to the original plan and not the New 52s or whatever, because I haven't read the New 52s, so I'm just assuming that the New 52s, that's what they're going on the TV show with Earth 2, etc., etc. So Wally West is kin to Iris. Somehow or another, he's kin to Iris. I don't recall how, so we're going to make that abundantly clear. I, being a more Marvel fan than DC, am not sure how in the hell he's kin to Iris, but he's kin to Iris. So I can't even recall how he got his powers, but I do know that he got the suit after Flash died. And so he put on the suit, and the only distinctive was that I believe he started wearing the yellow boots. I'm pretty sure Barry, the first comic Flash that I've ever read, his boots were always red. So I'm pretty sure that Kid Flash wore the yellow boots because his suit was yellow and red. He had red gloves and red boots and a red belt. But the rest of his suit was completely fucking yellow. And though yellow is my favorite color, he also didn't have the full hood. He had like the thing to go around with his head stuck out. And he was a redhead. So he was a ginger. And he could run real fast. So, it wasn't a problem. And yes, just like Barry, he can throw lightning bolts, he can make cyclones, and he can phase through walls. Now, I'm not sure if he had that one thing that Barry didn't do, because I really didn't like the Kid Flash book when Wally became the Flash. I really didn't like Wally being the Flash. He was cool as Kid Flash when he was a Teen Titan, but he wasn't cool for me as the Flash. Alright? And with DC, I'm an idiot, so it was hard for me to tell what fucking world they were on or what dimension, because in the Flash comic he was dead, but in the Teen Titans comic sometimes the Flash was not dead. Somebody can help me out on that. A person who's more of a DC than a Marvel fan, please come in and help me out on that and explain it to everyone else on YouTube, because my dumb ass cannot. Now, I will give Wally his credit, and everything was going great, and then they brought up the Young Justice cartoon, and Young Justice cartoon, I never read the Young Justice comics. I seen them, I just didn't read them, because it just wasn't my thing, and Connor Kent was not a member of the Young Justice comics, unless the new Young Justice came out with the New 52s, which I really didn't read any of that, so I don't really know. But the Young Justice cartoon was great. It was awesome. For the 2 seasons that it actually ran, it was awesome. But the first season was a complete fucking cop-out, and that pissed me off, because they jumped from Robin being young to Robin being Nightwing and Tim being Robin instead of Jason Peter Todd. They just like completely fuck you, dude, and put Tim there. And then Kid Flash was there. And at the end of the season, well, Kid Flash and Impulse and Wally were running in that thing, and Kid Flash burnt out and died. So Impulse took his suit, which was kind of fucked up, because they skipped and went through time again, and it was just really, the way they ended it just wasn't cool. So for Young Justice, you know, y'all copped out like a motherfucker, and that shit wasn't cool at all. Okay, so now let's move on to Impulse. If you're going by the Young Justice cartoon, Impulse is the grandson of Barry Allen. If you're going by the comic book, Impulse has a twin sister, and they are the children of Barry Allen and Iris West. They're twins, alright? So, being that they are the children of Barry Allen, they were born connected to the Speed Force, etc., etc. They didn't get struck by lightning or anything. They were born with the power of the Speed Force, which is why Impulse is so fast, alright? So, the Young Justice cartoon left off the fact that he had a twin sister. They completely left that shit off. So if I'm wrong, then you guys can get up on here and correct me, but I swear to God, the Impulse, Bart Allen, is the son of Barry in the comic. And in the cartoon, no such luck. Which goes back to, when you watch these cartoons and these movies and stuff, you can't watch them with comic book eyes. You have to watch them with innocent eyes and movie eyes, and try to not associate them with the comic, because you're going to get fucked with a red hot poker and no Vaseline. Right up the hot spot. So just watch them and enjoy them, and you know, you can compare notes in your brain later. So Impulse was the fastest of the Flashes. As far as I know, he was not faster than Barry, but he was the fastest, and the reason why they called him Impulse, because he could move as quick as an impulse. Like, as quick as you can think, he could move that fast. And he, too, could do the cyclones, phase through walls, and throw the lightning, and I think he had one more trick that Kid Flash and Barry didn't have. But I can't really remember, because like I said, I'm more of a Marvel fan than the DC. And if you ask me about Quicksilver, or if you ask me about Silver Debris or Silver Saber or whatever the fuck his name is, the only thing I can tell you is they were fast. And there's a guy named Mocklin who was faster than both of them. And when they had the Marvel vs. DC, they didn't put him up against the Flash, and they put Quicksilver against the Flash, and Quicksilver lost. Alright? So we're not going to go there, because those were like some disappointing times for me, but you know, it is what it is. Anyhow, in closing this video, hands down, for me, and only me, because this only affects my opinion, hands down, there is no Flash greater than Barry Allen. Alright? You guys can voice your opinion, leave it on the little blocks, you know how this shit works. If you think that Impulse was better than Barry, give me a video why, you know. Hook me up. Let me know your opinion. Now, I want to see your face. I don't want to read it. I want to see your face. So you can tell me, hey, James, check this out. This is why Impulse was better than Barry. Or, hey, James, check this out. This is why Wally West was better than Barry. All right? Hey, James, check this out. This is why Jay Garrick was the best of the best of the very best. No, let me have facial contact. You guys can see my ugly face. Let me see your pretty ones. So drop me a line on this thing and let me know how it goes. James Williams Jr., I'm Audi 5000. Thank you for watching my Flash Report.